Y'all's wives will appreciate that, I know. But anyway, we're excited about playing Miami. Excited about taking our talents to South Beach and seeing if we can play our best game in this one-game season that we got against the Hurricanes. Miami is a really talented football team, and they're an improving team. And it's easy to see, especially if you just sit down and you watch their games from the beginning to end in sequence. It's just very obvious to see that their confidence has grown and that they're improving. I think that they've figured some things out personnel-wise, and they got people in the right places, and they're playing their best football of the season. And again, that's what good teams do. They get better as the year goes, and that's what I see in Miami. Offensively, it's the best quarterback we've seen. He's smart. He's poised. He's very aware of what's going on. He's got great fundamentals for the position. Excellent feet, and he's the guy. I mean, their deal is they want to put the ball in his hands, and he's good enough to beat you. So this is a big challenge for us. The running backs, they're very much involved in the passing game. I think Yearby is the third leading receiver on the team, so they do a great job involving those guys and incorporating them into their packages. The receivers, this is the best group of receivers as a group that we've seen collectively. They're going to put 3 and 4 guys on the field that could play for anybody and that all can run. And then they got a trigger guy back there that can get them the ball. So really talented group. This will be the biggest challenge we've had from a coverage standpoint. I think every team to this point that we've played, I think, has kind of a run-first mentality. They want to come in, they want to run the football on us and set the pass up. This team wants to throw the football, and I don't blame them. They got great skill outside, and they got a quarterback that's a next-level guy. So, big challenge for our guys on the back end, excellent at tight end. And the other thing offensively is they're taking care of the football. They're number 1 in the nation in turnover margin, number 1. I think they got 11 interceptions, and Kai has thrown 1. So they're doing a great job of taking care of the football and, like I said, lead the nation in that regard. So that'll be a big factor in this game. Defensively, the biggest thing is they got a ton of depth in the defensive line. They've played a lot of guys. I mean, they've got about 7 defensive ends that they've rolled in and out of there through the first part of the season. I think number 8 and number 9, they've kind of settled on those guys as looks like the starters. And these are 2 young sophomores that I think have the potential to be superstars in our league. Long and athletic and quick twitch, physical guys. Big and thick inside with 92 and 93. 93 is a veteran guy, been very active for them. So same thing, though. They just roll a bunch of guys. They got a lot of depth in that D-line. They did lose as good a player as there is in this league, and that linebacker, number 56. That's unfortunate for them. He's a great player. So he won't be available, but they got great depth. And in the secondary, there's number 1's got 5 picks, but they got 11 interceptions amongst the coverage unit there. So a very experienced group on the back end, so another big challenge for us outside. Their kickers, 16 of 19. Their punt returner, I think, is top 15 in the nation. So this is a team that's capable of making plays in all 3 phases. Another tough opponent for us, especially going back on the road. I think they're 16-3 their last 19 home games, so they're obviously a tough team to beat at home. So for us, we got to go play a great game. We're going to have to play much better than we did the last time we went on the road, and that's our expectation. ACC play, both teams control their destiny in their division, so a lot at stake in this one. Any questions?
Dabo, from an exciting standpoint, where does that game in Miami in 2009 stand for you?
Oh man, that's one of the best. Just an awesome night. There was a lot of playmakers on that field. They were top 10 in the country. think that was our first top 10 win, maybe. Just coming out of the gate that first year. But really, if you go back and you look at that game, and you look at, there's a lot of guys, NFL players on both sides, but especially those guys down there. But it was an electric night. Never forget that return, the kick return by Spiller, the wheel route by Spiller, 2 huge plays for touchdowns. The overtime play to Jacoby, throw by KP. I mean, it was just a great moment for our guys, especially for that team, because we got off to a slow start, and with a freshman quarterback trying to kind of figure things out, and we went on to win 6 in a row and came back and beat Florida State, and it was just it was a fun year. It was a fun year kind of getting started, but for whatever reason, every time I've been down there, I think we've been in overtime. Let's see. Okay, yeah. I was down there in 04 and 09, both overtime games. But fun place to play, and our guys will be excited. A lot of these guys know each other. Great respect for Al Golden and the job he's done there. And again, they got a roster full of talent.
Coach Scott talked yesterday about how a couple of big plays last week were a result of Deshaun making checks at the line, helping him find open receivers. Is that an area that you've seen him grow this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a confident player. He knows what we're doing, and he's well coached. He understands it, and that's why he's a great player, because he's very smart. He studies, he prepares during the week. He tips and tendencies, and he just the game's not fast for him. The game is a slow game. He doesn't get overwhelmed. Maybe has a bad series, maybe makes a bad play. He doesn't carry that over. He just kind of is a very confident guy and plays the game, and he just plays the next play. Huge play in the game at the end of toward the fourth quarter there on the long play with Dion. We had a man beater call. That's what we'd been getting all night. Well, we get in the deal, and we had a bad look. They get in one of the few times they played too high on us, and he checked us into a better play. And that's what good players do, and that's how we train our quarterbacks. We give our quarterbacks a lot of, we're not one of these teams that look over there and we all tell them what to do every play. That's not how we operate. Our quarterbacks are trained to do a lot of different things, and when you got one like him, you can put a lot on his plate. He gets it, so that's why he's tough to beat.
Your defense is back in the top 10. Which aspect of this year's defense has surprised you the most?
Surprised me? Nothing. I mean, it's kind of what I said in the preseason. I think we're going to be really good in the back end, and I think our first group, you're not going to notice much difference. I think that's what I said, and so I'm not surprised at all. It's just played out exactly like I thought it would. So I thought Dye would be a great player. I thought Shaq would be a great player. I thought Carlos Watkins and Pagano would step up and be excellent for us. I guess maybe if there's a surprise, maybe it's the and you don't really know until you get into camp, start coaching. But maybe it's the aptitude and the quick adjustment that Christian Wilkins made. Maybe that's the biggest surprise. But outside of that, I think we're right where I hope we'd be.
Area that Brent is particularly focusing on to keep improving for the second half?
Oh, boy, all of it. I mean, we got to keep improving every single day, everybody. But, I think the biggest thing for us is just continuing to build that depth. And even though some guys maybe aren't playing a lot, we're still preparing them and teaching. And, every film study, every meeting, every correction tape from a game, guys are getting better. Every practice. So I think that's the biggest thing is just we've been pretty fortunate defensively because we've stayed relatively healthy to this point. So that's allowed us to kind of bring some guys along at a pace that's healthy for everybody. And hopefully when they get their opportunity, they'll be prepared.
A couple of your veteran players have mentioned they thought this team was better equipped to handle this great success you're having this season than in the past. What is it about maybe the culture change that makes this team better in that way?
Well, I mean, we've had a lot of success over the last, 6 years, and I just think that, winning breeds confidence, and not just, confidence in them as a player, but in confidence in your philosophies and what you do and the way you do things. And so guys have bought in to the mentality of our program, and these guys, they like I said, it's not. I mean, they're not surprised that they're 6-0. I mean, this is what they expect. They know that they're going to get everybody's best game. We're not going to get anybody's B game. That's just not the way it is. We're gonna get everybody's A game, and they understand that. But we don't really focus on that. We just focus on trying to, prepare our best and put our best forward and control the things that we control each and every week. And that's just the mentality of our guys. So, I think we've got the leadership on this team has had a ton of success. You're talking about a group going for their 5th 10-plus win season. They hadn't lost a lot of ball games. And when they have lost a game, even though the world may be over for some people, life is over, these guys keep moving. They just keep getting better. And when we've had big wins, the season isn't over. They know we got to play each game. And so that's, I think, the thing to me that is good about the makeup of our team. We got a lot of young guys, as we all know, but the veterans on this team, they get it. They get it, and that's what we're dependent on to kind of help keep us focused as we move through the rest of the year.
Coach, it's been 5 weeks since you've gone on the road. Now with the bye week, 3 straight home games, does it sort of take you out of a rhythm a little bit to go back on the road? And do you like that schedule?
No, I like going on the road. I think our guys are excited about getting back out on the road. It's just part of it. That's part of the process that you go through each and every year. We know we can't sit here and play all. I wish they'd let us play all of our games at home, but it doesn't work that way. So you look forward to each and every game and the challenge that each and every game brings. The challenge this week is we're playing a great team at their place. But man, how awesome is it to be able to load up and go down to South Beach and play at a place where the college football playoff's going to be held, play at a place that we played at the Orange Bowl. Our guys, they like being down there. So we got a bunch of guys from Florida getting a chance to go home to their home state and play. So it's exciting.
The fan apathy in Miami, is that an advantage or a disadvantage going in as a visiting team?
That ain't got nothing to do with us. Whether there's 100,000 people or 100, we're going to play to a standard. We don't play to a crowd. We play to a standard, and that's just the bottom line. None of the rest of it matters.
What kind of impact do you think that DJ can make in a short term? I know he's only been back for
A day.
while. Yeah.
A day in shorts. We'll get him out there today. Today's full pad day. Today's a heavy work day today and tomorrow, and we'll throw him out there. And I think you got to get a guy acclimated. Football's not. You don't just. It's not like basketball where you just jump out there on the court and run around. This is a violent sport, especially when you're a nose guard, and that's why the NCAA has an acclimatization period. For when we start the season, we don't just run out there and start tackling each other. So I think we got to be smart with him. I have no idea. We're gonna throw him in there today and get him some inside work and get him a lot of fundamentals and pass rush and team pass. And we'll start working him today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow is all we got in pads work. And then he's been out, so we've got a group that's game ready. I don't know if he'll play much, if at all, this weekend. We'll just kind of see how it is. But I think as we get him acclimated this week, he'll be ready, to really jump in there and be confident about what he's doing.
You've said all week hasn't really been on the forefront, obviously, with your mind. Were you surprised when you heard he was coming back?
No, I was hopeful. Exactly. I mean, that was his what he told me when he left was that he was hopefully he could deal with some things that he was dealing with and come back. I didn't know when, so it wasn't something I was going to sit around and worry about. Move on. That's all. That's the focus. So, I'm glad that he's back and he seems like he's in a good place mentally. and we'll get out there and start coaching football again.
If he's not in football shape, what kind of athletic shape is he in, just based on what you saw?
He looks great. He says he's been working out and training and doing all that stuff. His weight's good, and physically he looks really good.
You do anticipate he'll travel?
Oh yeah. Unless he gets hurt this week, he'll be with us. And like I said, but again, it's hard to just throw a guy in there. We've had a pretty good group in there playing, and this guy's been out since August, so he's got to kind of earn his way back. And you do that through practice, and maybe he plays. If he does, I don't think he'll play a whole lot. Like I said, if at all. But I think certainly by next week he'll be ready to kind of flex his muscles a little bit more.
You went into last week's game having a good idea that you could beat matchups deep offensively. This game would seem to be of a different nature because they have one of the worst yards per carry defensive numbers in the country. So I think there should be opportunities to run the ball.
Yeah, we always want to run the ball. There's no question, and we certainly that's where it starts for us every week. Last week was just a philosophy of you're not going to run the ball, and you're playing the number one and they can enforce that philosophy. These guys are good enough to do that, and they did it versus Florida State, who I think's got the best running back in the country. So Boston College can take the run away from you, and so it was a deal. Okay, well, this is what we got, and we're going to have to make some plays, and we were good enough to do that. That's the way it played out. We're either good enough or we're not. It was a very simple game, but not very complicated. Those are the easy games. You're either better than that guy or you're not. It's not a lot of deception and disguises and putting air in zones and guys being on the same. Not a lot of that. It was a pretty simple game as far as whether you were going to be good enough or not. This is different as far as their style of play. So they've done a good job in staying on top of things in the passing game. They got 11 interceptions, so they know what they're doing. Maybe they've given up some things in the running game, but consistently moving things down the field and in scoring in the red zone are two different things. So we've got to, we want to run the ball, and hopefully we can establish some of that and the play action that comes off of that, take what's there in the passing game, but you got to finish drives. You've got to convert in the red zone. And, as the field gets shorter, then what they're doing best right now becomes a factor. So we've got a tough challenge on our hands, and those things can be misleading too. I think early part, again, if you look at all their games, the early part of the season, and you just really sit down and watch, they have really, really improved. They did a great job against Florida State outside of about 3 plays. And they're going against, again, I think as good a player as there is in the country in Dalvin Cook. I mean, that guy is a freak. And he just made, they couldn't have done a better job. He made 3 plays in that game that won the game and was the difference in the game. And if you just take those 3 plays away, they did a great job versus the run. So this is a very capable group, like I said, that has gained confidence and has improved. And I think, again, part of it is they had so many guys, so many bodies to work with. I think it took them a little while to kind of figure out who their best personnel was. But I think they've got that dialed in now.
How have they done it, moving Coley around to get him advantageous matchups?
He's a really, all 3 of those guys, 3, 11, 6, they're all really good players. But they've taken a lot of easy throws on the outside when people have given them soft coverage, a lot of screens, and then they've thrown him in the slot some and done a great job. But Kaya is the guy. I mean, he just knows where to go with the ball. I mean, he's formation-wise, they do a good job as far as formation in the boundary, motions, and that type of stuff. But they're going to find some matchups, especially if you're playing man coverage like we do. So that'll be a challenge for us in making sure that we create the right matchups that are advantageous for us and not let them dictate.
Is it a Big challenge when you don't play a team, but a conference team once every 5 years.
No, I mean, it's just, I mean, we know who they are. We watch them all the time on tape. Even though you may not play them, you see them all the time. And then these guys are aware of everybody in the conference. You know, we hadn't played Pittsburgh yet, but you know, I see them on tape against other opponents and things like that. So I don't think that's a big deal.
You said earlier, you feel good about the depth you're developing in some places, even though you're not playing a lot of guys. And I think linebacker is probably one of those biggest areas because BJ and Ben hardly ever come off the field.
Yeah.
Does it concern you at all that you haven't used more people there, or as long as they stay healthy, that's okay?
Yeah, I mean, we want our best guys in there. I mean, we only played, 60 plays the other night. You know, it's not like they're playing 80, 90 plays out there. I think we've done a pretty good job of getting off the field. So, you know, that kind of is the main thing there. But they've done a great job. But Jalen and Kendall are really improving and earning more and more trust as we go. And if we need them, they'll be ready.
Dabo,